got live pictures coming your way from the pre-inaugural lecture for the maiden convocation ceremony of the Federal Polytechnic of Oil and Gas, Bonny Island, Rivers State, Nigeria. Indeed, the highly anticipated event, which also marks the 10-year anniversary of the only oil and gas polytechnic in Africa, was highly attended by dignitaries from far and near. Yes, we had dignitaries from the Federal Ministry of Education, the National Board for Technical Education, the Governing Council of the Polytechnic, ably chaired by distinguished Senator George Sekibor, the caretaker chairman of Bonny local government area, and many more. Do want to sit back and enjoy the show, as I can make bold to say it is very informative, educative, and entertaining.
Thank you for the warm prayer. Please, while we are still standing, may we take the national anthem, please. Thank you. May we be seated, please.
Upon arrival of the dignitaries, the Public Relations Officer of the Polytechnic, Madam Harriet Jamaica, and Dr. Kalapapa Benjamin Dapa, Master of Ceremony, welcomed the guests and invitees.
Once again, it is my pleasure to welcome you to this very special occasion. May I humbly introduce and welcome again the Governing Council Chairman, Chief Senator George Johnson Africa, JP. May I also welcome the Governing Council members, Honorable Asita, Honorable Daniel Ekpa, Professor Prince Chike, Barrister Fola Shade Bakare, other internal members of the Governing Council. May I also introduce to us the guest lecturer, Professor Idris Mohammed Ugaji, the Executive Secretary of MPTE. It is ably represented by the Serial for MPTE Director of South Zone. I'd like to welcome the presence of the Chairman of the occasion, the Honorable nnamdi Claude Wilcox, ably represented by Honorable Bonny Long.
Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure at this point in time to very respectfully recognize in our midst our very wonderful discussant, Honorable Barrister Edward Ebenezer Pepple, former Executive Chairman of Bonny local government area. It is my pleasure to very quickly welcome the Acting Rector, Federal Polytechnic of Oil and Gas, Bonny, Dr. Victor A. Okloba. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, please permit me the pleasure to welcome our principal officers here seated. We have the Deputy Rector Administration, Mrs. Ikefre Blessing Pauline. Acting Registrar, Barrister Mrs. Altina Buma George. Polytechnic Librarian, Mr. Albert Elegine. Adia, very wonderful bossa, Mr. Idris Mohammed.
The Master of Ceremony went on to recognize the presence of directors and heads of departments, deans of schools, executives of ASOP, SANIP, NASO, and other invited guests.
I am Dr. Kalapapa Benjamin Dapa, Director, Technical and Vocational Education and Training, Tibet, your Master of Ceremony.
I am Harriet Jamaica, PRO. Welcome to this occasion.
Obviously keen to experience firsthand the unfolding of things, the event was kick-started in earnest by an opening remark by Chairman of the occasion, in person of the caretaker Chairman of Bonny local government area, represented by Mr. Umini Long John.
I wish to tender an apology from the caretaker committee chairman, Bonny local government, Dame Honorable Anenki Baraswa, Claude Wilcox.
After welcoming dignitaries and assuring them of their safety, The Gatika chairman highlighted the importance of the Polytechnic in Bonny local government area, applauding key stakeholders who made the advancement possible. Thereafter, the rector of the Polytechnic mounted the podium.
This event, which is one out of the several events lined up for our convocation ceremony, holds a special significance to our Polytechnic, as we all are here to learn and acquire knowledge from the fountain and reservoir of knowledge and experience of the Executive Secretary, National Board for Technical Education, NBT, Professor Ebuka Obi, a man of timber and caliber, and an embodiment of knowledge and relevant experience. Today, we are privileged to listen to a lecture by Professor Ugaje titled Skills Acquisition and Technical Innovation in Nigeria, the place of Federal Polytechnic of Oil and Gas, Bonny.
As the event heralded to its climax, Registrar of the Polytechnic took the citation to pave way for the guest lecturer.
For me to be the one to read the citation of Professor Idris Bugaje. Idris Bugaje is known now in the Polytechnic and educational sector as Professor Skills. That's because of his work and achievements with skills and his encouragement to students, so everybody to learn a skill. Please listen to his citation.
Evidently, the stage was set for the guest lecturer, who took a robust section on the topic, Skills Acquisition and Technical Innovation in Nigeria, the role of Federal Polytechnic of Oil and Gas, Bonny, re-emphasizing the unimaginable heights achievable by the institution. He schooled attendees of the program on the possible strategies imminent for Bonny Island as an economic hub in Nigeria.
Almost of 2 years ago, it was a thing of concern to the board because the vision of the institution in those past years could not be achieved. However, to glory and honor be unto God, that in the past 1.5 years, this institution has moved from grace to grace, having successfully hosted and granted accreditations in several programs in just 1 year. In fact, less than 1 year. I must congratulate the management team and of course the council. Keep up the good work and may the good Lord bless you.
As we embark on this intellectual adventure, it is my privilege and pleasure to invite the discussants for his noble discussion on this topic, Ama Senebo, Honorable Barrister Edward Ebenezer Peku, former Executive Chairman, Bonny local government area.
Institutions like this to continue to complain of funding coming late or never coming from the federal government, you must think of how to boost your IGRO by utilizing your consultancy services or entrepreneurship, I don't know what it is called here, to be able to build trainings that will support every plan, employment and training plan of the industry.
As the event came to its wrap, Barrister Edward Peku, in a speech that can best be described as apt, admonished the management on workable strategies for partnership with the IOCs in a bid to generate funding, which is key in advancing the Polytechnic to greater heights. Closely followed by this was a question and answer session as the vote of thanks was taken by the Deputy Rector, Admin, Mrs. Ibifrey Poly.
Please permit me to say thank you for being part of this auspicious occasion. Thank you all for being the most magnanimous. Thank you for being the most magnificent. Thank you for being the indomitable and impregnable pillar of this occasion. I am your master of ceremony.